So you might be sitting down with your holiday list, or maybe you're planning to go shopping this holiday weekend. And even the thought of it, all of a sudden your chest gets tight and maybe your heart starts beating really fast because someone you love is grieving. Somebody that you hold dear in your heart is hurting. Their world has been completely turned upside down and shifted, and you have no idea how to help them or no idea what to give them. Because what do you give someone that has lost everything, or moving through a significant loss or a heartbreak, or grieving a dear loved one? What do you give when their heart is just broken and hurting so deeply? Well, that's what we're going to talk about in this video today. First, we're going to walk through what not to give and why certain gifts can really feel off, especially when someone is grieving the loss of a loved one. And then we're going to talk about what actually does help. What are the kind of gifts that can bring comfort and maybe even a little ease during this hard season? And then I'm going to share a few practical ideas that you can even give if you do want to actually have something that is tangible or wrappable, and you can present them with a physical, tangible gift. So before we do, really quick, hi, I'm Destiny Rael. I'm a trauma-informed grief and transformation coach. I'm a grief support facilitator, and I have worked with dozens and dozens of grievers that have gone through loss during the holidays, just navigating through grief and loss and transition and change. And more importantly, I'm a griever myself. I've lived it in my own tragic, significant loss of my brother, and it's what brought me to this work. So if you are here because you care and your heart genuinely wants to show up and offer something meaningful, you're in the right place. And if you're also the one that's grieving and people are asking you, what do you want for Christmas? Or what do you want for the holidays? And you're not even sure how to even answer that or even what you need right now, this is for you too. Because this is the gift giving season, and that alone can just feel so much pressure. But when someone is grieving, and especially someone you love that is grieving, of course, there's that natural instinct to try to help and to fix and to uplift them during the holidays or at all. We want to ease the pain. We want to make this season just a little less heavy. But here's the truth, and it's something that I've learned through my own professional work and from my own loss. There isn't a gift that's going to help take the pain away. You can't fix grief. So instead of asking, what should I give? I want to invite a different question. I want you to ask, what does their grief actually need right now? Or what would my friend or what would my loved one that's living this reality right now, what do they need? Let go of trying to heal, trying to fix, trying to change things. Just meet them where they're at. And if you're thinking, well, I don't know what that is, that's why I'm here, that's okay. We're going to walk through that together in this video so I can help you. So let's start there. Let's talk about what not to give and why some of these gifts that I'm going to mention, even with the best intentions, can end up feeling more hurtful than helpful. And I'm actually going to give you some examples I've heard directly from grievers in my grief groups and in my coaching work, and even things I've experienced myself. And just before we even go there, I just want to name this before we start. If you've even thought about giving some of these gifts, or maybe you've even given them before in the past, none of this is about blaming anyone or shaming well-intended, heartfelt ideas. Most of the gifts come from, love and genuine desire to help. So this isn't about judging or judging you or judging the gift itself. It's just really about helping you understand what grief actually feels like on the receiving end. Then I just want to bring some awareness around that so you can find gifts that are meaningful and purposeful for what they need right now. So, okay, let's get into what not to give. Now, the first one is something that people don't even realize that they're doing it. Unsolicited advice wrapped up as a gift. And honestly, most people don't even love unsolicited advice any time of year, even if you're not grieving. But when you are grieving, it hits so much harder. This might look like gifts that prescribe how to grieve or offer some type of prescription. Maybe it's books with titles like How to Heal Yourself After Loss, or 12 Weeks to Healing, or Moving On After Grieving. Or maybe it's grief workbooks with daily assignments and timelines, or daily gratitude journals that tell you to write 3 things you're grateful for. or even colorful books like Be Happy and Find Joy Again. Then there's the workshops or meditation subscriptions with names like Let Go of the Past or Heal Your Heart in 21 Days. Even if it's just a candle that says heal, all of these can imply a prescription, apply a suggestion. Now, just to be clear, there's nothing wrong with books and candles or journals or even guides with a little bit of structure. Sometimes those tools can be really grounding and anchoring. In fact, I'm actually working on a guided grief journal as we speak for that reason. So it's not the tool itself, it's the message that can come with it. It's that message that says, hey, here, do this. This will help you feel better. Or that implies a timeline. Or, hey, read this and it will fix your grief. And that's where it lands wrong. Because when someone's grieving, especially in those early days of grief, especially in the holidays, anything that feels like pressure or a fixed timeline or offers a suggestion that they should be somewhere else in their process can feel really, really heavy. Because grief doesn't need instructions. It needs room. It needs space to be with what it is without someone trying to fix it or make it better, or even offering a better tomorrow. So a good rule of thumb is this. If it comes with steps or rules or tasks or timelines or suggestions or even promises of transformation or hope, it's probably not the right gift somebody needs right now. Okay, so the next one is something I see a lot as well. And again, it always comes from a good place and always comes from, good intention, but it can land in a really painful way. And that is platitudes wrapped up in a bow. These are the gifts that try to make grief feel a little bit better or maybe a little lighter. Maybe it's a quote or a slogan or even a clothing item. Things that have picture frames or signs that say everything happens for a reason, or time heals all wounds. Or it could be an angel ornament that says heaven gained another angel. Or it's that sweatshirt that says choose joy or find yourself. Or the cards that have more of a directive undertone or rush the process, like you'll feel better soon or stay strong. And here's the thing. These messages often comfort the giver. They help the giver maybe make sense of something that doesn't make sense. But for the person receiving it, it feels minimizing. It's like their pain has to be wrapped up or explained away. And when your world has been completely shattered or disrupted, a phrase like everything happens for a reason is not comforting. It can feel very dismissive. It's like as if there is this lesson that they should be learning or uncovering, or a purpose that they have to make sense of, or a deeper understanding that they have to come to. Platitude gifts can also create pressure. Pressure to be positive, pressure to be strong, pressure to be resilient, pressure to find the silver lining, pressure to make meaning out of something that right now doesn't have one, or may not ever at all, or at least that they're not ready to find right now. And grief doesn't respond to pressure. It responds to being witnessed. It responds to being seen. So anything that implies or says, hey, just look on the bright side, or good vibes only, can feel like a message that their real feelings are too much, or that they have to be polished up for the holiday season. And it's just not helpful at all. Now, again, there's nuance. Some people genuinely love sentimental pieces or quotes or positive affirmations or even song lyrics that remind them of their person. But there's a difference between honoring their grief and trying to lighten it. Platitudes often lighten the surface, but they don't lighten the load that they're carrying. And when someone is grieving, they don't need a slogan. They don't need a positive affirmation in the moment. They need space. They need acknowledgement. They need you to meet them where they are, not where you wish they are. So just consider this when you're shopping this holiday. If a gift is telling them how they should feel or what to feel or where they should be emotionally, or it puts some type of expectation on their progress, it's probably not the right gift at this time, or probably not what they needed in this grieving space that they're in. Okay, so this next one is really nuanced and actually, honestly, very, very personal for me, which is Any kind of memory or memorial or photo gift given without warning or notice. And that is the key part, without warning. Now, in the right timing and the right conversation, these gifts can be incredibly meaningful. They often become some of the most treasured things a grieving person receives. But surprising someone with a framed photo or a photo book or a video montage or a voice recording or a quilt with all their pictures all over it, it can catch them off guard, especially if you don't know where they're at emotionally. It can really take their breath away, and it can catch them off guard in a way that is more painful than supportive. And quite frankly, it can be even triggering. And here's why. Because when you give someone a memory gift without checking in first, you take their choice away. It can really put them off balance. Their body reacts before their mind even has time to prepare, and suddenly they're just trying to manage emotions that they didn't even see coming. It's literally a shock to the system. I remember a time when I was working, and this was, I think, the next holiday after my brother passed away, and someone came into my work to drop off a very meaningful, beautiful gift. I mean, I still have it. But in the moment, I was just so taken aback. I didn't know what to do with it. It was actually a beautiful little figurine with my brother and me and with our names on it and photos. And I mean, it was so thoughtful and so well thought out. I just wasn't ready. And it completely just caught me off guard, because some grievers aren't ready to look at photos yet. They can't even watch videos without breaking down. I still can't. And it'll be almost 15 years in January. Some people need time before they can even process or even hold anything that carries that much emotional weight. So just be mindful of that. And here's the thing, and I want to make this clear. Most of us do want the pictures. We want the videos. We want the recordings. We want the memories. We want anything and everything that has anything to do with our loved ones. We just need to prepare our hearts and our nervous system for what's coming. So if you do have a gift like this in mind, or you want to give something like this, maybe just give us a heads up. Something like, hey, I have something really special for you. It does include photos or videos of, and you can name their person. I just wanted to tell you so you can open it when you're ready. Or I made you this special gift and I just want to, be mindful of what it might bring up emotionally for you, and you can open it when you're ready. This small shift actually offers them agency. It offers them emotional safety. And it really honors their reality of where their grief is at and the timing of that, not your timing. And the last one I want to mention is what I call active gifts or activity gifts. And these are things like concert tickets or workshops or festive activities or group events or certificates to a healing seminar or retreat. And on the surface, these can also be really thoughtful. And you might even be thinking, but I want to give them something that they can look forward to, or that keeps them busy. Or maybe this could even help them feel better. Or maybe you found this healing class and you think it might support them. But here's the thing. Active gifts require energy. It requires them to show up. They're really asking the person to get dressed, to be on, to show up, to be around people, to hold a certain level of emotional capacity or even energy. And depending on where they're at in their grief, that can feel like a lot. So sometimes the message underneath these gifts can feel like it's time to get out there, or time to move on, or this will help you move on. Even if that's not your intention at all, it just can sometimes land that way. So again, of course, there's nuance with this too. Some people really do appreciate invitations, or might want to be busy, or want to have experiences or workshops or healing retreats. I mean, I lead grief retreats and healing workshops myself, so I know how powerful they can be when someone is truly ready for them. This isn't about saying never give those things at all. It's really about honoring their timing, capacity, and where they're at emotionally. It's about their readiness. So if you are thinking about giving one of these types of gifts or something that is more active, try keeping it a little bit more flexible or low pressure. Something that they can choose when to use, or even save for later or even doesn't expire. And if you're close enough to them, you can even ask them, hey, would tickets to this event or class feel supportive for you right now? Or would that feel too much? Or maybe you say, hey, there's this workshop or retreat I'd love to take you to. Would that be helpful for you at this stage or not right now? It's okay to ask that question. And that question alone can shift everything. Because again, it's not that the experiencers are wrong. In fact, it might even be quite helpful. It just, they need to have a certain readiness. And by asking them, it gives their grief choice. It gives them readiness, not obligation. Okay, so we've talked about what not to give and what gifts are not necessarily helpful or supportive, or at the very least to have some things to be mindful of about them. But you might be thinking, okay, so well, what can I give then? What actually helps? What does bring comfort or support? Well, I'm so glad you asked. That's what we're going to talk about next. Because once we remove the pressure, we remove the advice, we take away the active gifts, now we ask, what does grief actually need? And it's surprisingly really simple. So, number one gift I think is the most meaningful is your presence. Your presence is the most meaningful gift you can offer, not just in December, not just at the funeral, but months, even years later, on a random Wednesday in the middle of the afternoon, maybe on days when the world assumes that they're better or that they've moved on, you show up. Grief gets lonelier as the months go on. So presence becomes a lifeline. And, presence can look like scheduling a weekly or monthly check-in for the next 12 months. Or maybe you just schedule that for yourself to do. Maybe it's texting on the same day every month, just, hey, I'm thinking of you. Or sending a card or an email once a month and just pre-scheduling them. Or setting up a monthly FaceTime where they don't even have to show up, but they know that you're there if they decide to. Or maybe you just show up with coffee, no agenda, because it's not about fixing anything. It's about saying, I'm here. I'm still here, and I will always be here. Your presence matters more than presence. So number two is permission. Permission is such a gift in grief. Permission to cancel plans, to leave early, to skip the holiday altogether, to not come to the work event, to cry, to laugh, to not respond to the text, to not have to pretend that they're okay. Grief already brings such internal pressure, especially the world adding even more. Your permission removes the expectation to be anything other than what they are right now. And sometimes just offering permission is so relieving. It gives them permission to even breathe. And it might even sound like, hey, if you want to leave early, just say the word. Or maybe it's, hey, it's okay to skip the party altogether. Or you don't even owe me a response. You don't even have to respond. Or whatever you're feeling is okay. Because again, permission gives them space to breathe. It tells them that their experience is valid and you are there for it. So the third thing I want to offer is grace. Grief is so inconsistent. One day they might seem okay, the next day they're falling apart. And that in and of itself is a roller coaster. And neither day means anything. It's just, that's where they're at in their grief. So grace means not taking their inconsistency personally. It means not assuming that a good day means their grief is gone. It means not assuming that they're smiling means that they're happy. It means not expecting progress, or it means not asking them to be who they were before. Grace says, you don't have to be steady for me. You don't have to manage my feelings. You don't have to be anything other than where you're at right now, or you get to show up exactly as you are. And that creates safety. And safety is one of the deepest needs in grief. And the last thing that I want to offer is your memories of the person is an amazing gift. This is one of the most meaningful emotional gifts you can offer when it's done with care. Saying their person's name, sharing a story, telling them something that you remember that was meaningful to you. It reassures them that their person isn't forgotten. I get stories all the time still, in my email or DMs about my brother, and it is the best gift. It lights my heart up, and I share them with my mom, and I know it does the same. So sharing those memories or those stories is so meaningful. It lightens the weight of feelings like they're the only one carrying the memory. And of course, every grief story is different. Some relationships are really beautiful and some were complicated. Maybe even some were estranged. So, of course, use your discernment, share what feels genuine, and only if you feel it's truly supportive. But you can deepen it by maybe sending a simple text like, I was just thinking about them today, or have this funny memory or an inside joke. Maybe it's just telling a story about their person at holidays or a gathering. Or maybe just a special tribute or a toast. Maybe it's writing a letter or about something you admired about them. All of these kind of stories just tell a grieving person that their person mattered, that they still matter, that they're not forgotten, and they're not the only one who remembers. It can bring so much comfort beyond even words could explain. Okay, so we've talked about the emotional gifts that you can give, but I know you still might want to give them something that you can wrap. You want to actually give them something tangible that can be meaningful. And yes, there are absolutely beautiful, thoughtful gifts you can give someone who's grieving, as long as you're aware of where they're at in their grief and what their heart actually has the capacity for right now. And the simplest way that I want to encourage you to think about this is this, if that made sense, is this. Give things that bring comfort or ease, not pressure or performance. And obviously, we just went through a list of things that hopefully give you some awareness around things that aren't helpful, hopefully around things that are helpful. And I want to give you some practical things that might also be something that you want to give. So one practical gift that you can consider is memorial gifts with, of course, a heads up, but maybe it's necklaces or jewelry that has their initials on it, or maybe it's an ornament with their name on it, or handwritten letters, or even a custom piece of art that has a drawing or their person's writing somehow. And of course you can add a disclaimer. I have a small gift for you. It's, you open it when you're ready, and, let them know that it's perhaps involves their loved one. But at least that gives them emotional awareness, emotional preparation rather than emotional shock. The second thing that you can consider giving is symbolic gifts that actually validate their grief. This could be something like a tear catcher. That's something, a beautiful little tear catcher that I received that was so meaningful to me. Or maybe it's a candle with someone's name on it. Or again, a special piece of art that maybe you drew if you're artistic or creative. Just something that helps them feel seen. And sometimes symbolic gifts can be really deeply personal. I had one woman in my grief group, and she had shared that she received this framed article that had been published that her husband, or that talked about her husband, that was a renowned journalist. And it meant so much to her. And of course, not because it took her pain away, but it honored him. It honored the life he lived. And I just remember how meaningful that was for her. So symbolic gifts don't push healing. They validate the grief. They hold space for the love and the loss at the same time. And then third idea or things to consider is comfort gifts, but gifts that don't require their emotional energy. Maybe it's a cozy blanket or even a weighted blanket, or socks, or soothing tea, or body lotion, just things that can actually give them grounding and comfort that's not asking anything in return. And then finally, number 4 is practical support that really helps lighten the load. This is often the most appreciated gift of all. Maybe it's a meal delivery, or maybe it's grocery delivery, or a cleaning service, or even pet care or child care, or a car wash certificate. Anything that's going to help give energy back to someone that just feels so exhausted and depleted is always very helpful and meaningful. So yes, there are many meaningful gifts you can give a grieving person. Memorial gifts, comfort gifts, practical gifts, symbolic gifts, emotional gifts. And they can all be beautiful when you're giving it from a place of awareness instead of assumption. So if you remember anything from this video, I hope it is this. Don't start with, what should I give? Perhaps start with, what does their grief need right now? And if you're not sure and you feel comfortable, you can ask them. There's nothing wrong with asking, what would feel more supportive for you this season? It's one of the kindest things you can even do for them, because it lets them know that you're even thinking of that you're even considering that. So remember, the best gifts aren't about fixing grief. They're not about healing them. It's about witnessing. It's about honoring it. It's about showing up for them without even trying to change them. And if you're supporting someone this holiday season, your presence matters more than presents, anything that you can buy. And if you're grieving, it's okay to actually say what you need. You're not asking for too much. You're not too much. You are just asking for care. Grief is hard enough. So let's make supporting each other a little gentler. And I hope this video was a part or contributed to doing that. And of course, if you want more support this holiday season, I have put together a grief and holiday playlist you can watch here. And I'll link that also in the notes as well. And I'm going to be back next week to walk through another supportive video to help you walk through this holiday season and grief. In the meantime, be gentle on your heart, and I'll see you next week. Thank you so much for being here.